If you're looking to buy this property on the Gold Coast, I've done all the due diligence and research for you, so you don't have to. So this is the address, 7 of 10 Aquila Court, Mermaid Waters. Probably my most favorite suburb at the moment. 2-bed, 1-bath and 1-car space. Super unique. Offers over $875. I think it'd probably like this. It's going to start with very early 9. I tend to have a quick look at the photos, just go through and see if anything I can spot. And from this photo, this one in particular, is the thing that I noticed the most. So when you're looking at the actual block itself, this unit, top level, amazing, but it's actually pushed back. These ones are all very good because they've got all uninterrupted views. You're going to have a slightly affected view. Now you can kind of see it here. So you've got this right-hand wall, which is one of the other units, and then the left-hand unit as well. I think it's going to be priced slightly lower. Buyers will probably see a slight discount on this because it's got those kind of two impeding walls on each side. But saying that, it's Mermaid Waters, it's on the water, it's been renovated, and I actually think this is an absolute ripper of a buy. There's only 6 or 8 in the block, so if you're ever unsure of like how many apartments are actually in the block, just count the letterboxes. Sometimes they have a letterbox just for the strata. From that point, I would go straight to microburbs.com.au because I want to know what's happening at the suburb level and the street level with the data. Just plug in your suburbs, Mermaid Waters. You want to scroll down, and because we're looking at buying an apartment or a unit, this is where you want to be. And the first thing that I notice with this data is the capital growth forecast on it looks very, very good. And here's why. So they've got a forecast on units every single year for the next 2 to 4 years at anywhere from 9.8 to 9.9%. So those numbers are very, very good. And then this part here, so where it says top 4%, they're projecting that Mermaid Waters for units on the Gold Coast is going to be in the top 4% of all suburbs on the Gold Coast for capital growth. The key metrics that I'd look at, the smart median sales price of all units, about 919, a little bit low. Your yields are actually pretty good at 4.2%. Nearly 80% of the entire suburb is made up of owner occupiers, exactly where you want to be buying. If you look at the vacancy rate, it's so tight, it's 0.9%. So if you are going to buy this as an investment and get a tenant in, it's very, very easy because there's very little properties to choose from. It's less than 1% of properties that are actually available to rent at a given period of time. From there, I actually like to go over to Stash, another great platform. So Microburbs and Stash are both very, very good. I like to find the stock on market because there's a bit of an inflection point that you're looking for. The first thing that I notice here, so stock on market rate is 0.9%. It's just hyper low, and you'll actually see this like inflection point. So see here, this the yellow line is starting to trend down, and then the blue line is going up. So that puts an upward pressure on your mid price, and that's why you've got this big discrepancy at the moment, because that inflection point happened just after COVID, probably February 2023, it looks like. So that's why you're seeing such a big spread and a big upward pressure on price. I've done a quick check of the suburb. I just want to run some further due diligence. Here's what I like to do. I use Archistar. Just want to see at what zone I'm actually buying in. So I am buying in this medium density zone, which if you look on Duet Drive and Aquila Drive, now this whole stretch on the Gold Coast at Mermaid Waters is so good. It's so tightly held. There's not many of them. They don't trade very often. They can't go up really high and build like really big high rises. And on the other side of the water, these are like $2, $3, $4 million houses. You've got a relatively flat site. That's every line is about 1 meter. So you've probably got a 2.5 meter slope from the back to the front. When I put the flood overlay on, you'll notice that it comes as an overlay on most of the suburbs on the eastern part of the Gold Coast. So if you look at Broadbeach Waters, for example, or Mermaid Waters, or if you go into like Burleigh Waters or Varsity Lakes, they do have flood overlays on them. So just be mindful that when you are buying these properties, they will be tagged with a flood overlay. Now, there's different variations of that. Typically, these would be on the very low side. There's no bushfire issues. There's no heritage issues that kind of pop up. There's no major overhead power lines. I'm always looking for these ones. Just be careful of the big major red ones. So these are part of the national voltage line. So if you are buying too close to those, sometimes the bank will trigger a risk rating on that property. So just be mindful. Checked all the easements. There's no current easements that I can see on the property. The Queensland Noise Road corridor is always a good one. So if you zoom out, these are your busier parts of the Gold Coast. So you've got like a Hooker Boulevard and then Bermuda Street. Ideally, you're kind of staying as away from those as possible because the higher the street noise, right, then the higher the noise that's going to be on your property. The major rail corridor is out in like Nerang, Varsity Lakes, which is so far away, there's no noise issues at all. So my quick look at this property, everything's kind of stacking up pretty well. The suburb's good. We're on the water. We've got a small block of only 8. It's priced pretty well. It offers over $875. I think there's a slight discount because of the orientation of the actual block and where it's facing. And then just a quick little like street view of the actual property itself. So There's no buses, there's no bus stops, there's no major noise, I guess, issues that I can kind of see. And a really quick overview just on RP data. So internally, it's about 74 square meters. It looks like the property was built in 1981. Did notice that the property sold 20 years ago for $240,000. Hypothetically, we buy it for $900,000. It looks to me like every single year for the last 20 years, as an average, it's been going up by nearly 7%. And then I found out that 8 years ago, the property was sold for $400,000. Let's say we buy it for $900,000. It just means every single year for the last 8 years, it's actually been going up by about 10.5%. It's given me a high confidence on a valuation estimate, anywhere from that 835 to 895 level. The agent's priced it at 875. In my personal view, I think it's probably going to be over that mark. I think it's going to be very early 9. Your yields are generally very good on the Gold Coast. So a property like this on the water, 2-bed, 1-bath, presents relatively well. I don't think you'll get to the 850 level. You're probably in like the early 8s, 8 to 825, somewhere along those lines, which is going to put you in between that 4.5 gross rental yield range. So if you look at Mermaid Waters, and this is on microburbs.com.au, last year, units in Mermaid Waters grew by 16.9%. 3-year growth was 38%. 5 years it grew by 92%, which is very, very, very high. And 10-year growth is 127%. From here, I just want to figure out, is this fair market price, or where am I going to land on price? Knowing the marketplace really well and seeing what's trading, I actually think 875 is a little bit on the underside. I'll show you why. This property just sold a couple of weeks ago. It was about that $920,000 mark. A 45 Duet Drive, 2-bed, 1-bath, 1-car space, highly comparable. I'd say this is a little bit better than that one, just because the view on this one is much better. Now, there is also another property on Duet Drive that's just about to sell for the 950 range, 2-bed, 1-bath, circa 100 square meters as well, unrenovated. So that's at 950. So if that one's at 950, this one's about 920, the other one's at 875. I would benchmark this one just like super broadly. I would say like a 905, 910, somewhere along those lines. Now, at this point with your pricing, you're not trying to get like dollar accurate. You're trying to do most of your research, like 95% of your research, before you even go into the property. And then a quick forward projection on your capital growth. So let's hypothetically say you buy it for 900. It compounds about 7%, which is actually a little bit low. Let's just put it at about 8%. That means every single year for the next 4 years, you're looking at about $70,000 in capital growth just on that specific asset. And the other cool thing that I really like about microburbs.com.au is they very easily give you this street level data. So you can have a look at the suburb. I've broken down the property side of things, but then you can look at the street. So if you just type in the street name, so we're looking at buying on Aquila, and the median sales value along Aquila is $935,900. Now, that's just the median. There will be some above that, will be some below that. But if you're trying to like broadly benchmark where you think it's going to land on price, having the street level data is incredibly important. And there you have it. I wouldn't overcomplicate things too much. I try and get through this data relatively quickly. I saw this one pop up. I shortlisted it. 95% of my research is already done. It's just now a matter of going to the property, meet the agent, physically checking out, seeing if you can pick up any kind of defects, put your offer in and have a run at it. So if you're looking at buying a property on the Gold Coast and you want a local buyer's agent to kind of help you, my name's Trent. I've grown up on the Gold Coast. I've got 14 years of real estate experience. Also got a Bachelor of Real Estate and I majored in valuation, and I started investing in real estate in 2008. I look forward to helping you.